Good evening, and welcome to episode 74 of Schnozzcast for Friday, May 22nd, 2020. How's everybody doing out there?
Hello.
Hello. Let's, once again, I'm joined by my trusty compatriots, my pals, my amigos. Starting with Mr. Cory Slesky.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. And Mr. Nick Bader.
Sir, how are you?
Excellent. And the elegantly coiffed Ms. Danielle Finn.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know if I like that word.
Coiffed?
Yeah,
You don't like that word? Does it give you the heebie-jeebies?
it does. Just a little bit.
There's a certain family member that we both know who gets the heebie-jeebies whenever he hears the word panties. Is it the same for you? Heebie-jeebies?
Not so much on that one. Quaff,
Okay.
though, loins. Loins is bad.
Loins, yep, moist. I've heard that.
Yeah, don't do that. Oh,
Corey is all about the panties, though.
I can fly with panties. That's all right.
Oh, whoa. Like to see that.
So if one were said to have covered their moist loins in panties
Okay. Nope, that doesn't work.
before quaffing their hair, I think we're off to a great start.
There's some.
Yeah.
He doesn't like quaffed either.
No?
No, he's
Aw.
clearly very upset.
Oh, looks like he wants to know what's all this quaffing about. I heard loins. Is that tenderloins? What's going on up here?
Yeah, no tenderloins for you, bud.
Which one is that? Which pooch?
Remy.
Remy.
Remy? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Rem.
All right. Jumping into the housekeeping real quick. I don't know if you guys saw the news that we're apparently we were very well positioned to do because we're available on Spotify. But there's a huge deal today where Spotify inked some sort of a deal with Joe Rogan to exclusively air his podcast on their platform, and their stock shot through the roof.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, he's only going to be on Spotify.
I think he might also do some YouTube-y stuff.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. But
Yeah.
as far as any other streaming services, like he's no longer going to be on iTunes or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Well, Spotify must be paying him crazy money.
Probably, but they're probably trying to take over the podcast game. It looks like.
Well, they started at a good spot. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you can't get bigger than Rogan at this point.
No,
We're probably number 2. Right after Rogan.
right behind him.
Yeah, but there's a real big drop off between
Close
1 and 2.
close second, as most would say.
I mean, if you move a couple of zeros over, in the number of followers, I'm sure we're right there.
Yeah.
How are they going to make an argument with that?
Probably involves a lot of zeros.
A lot of zeros moving. All right, so just to go into the good news part of the show, rather than focusing on a lot of the negative stuff that's out there. I think we talked last week about the restaurant that was handing out hats that were made of like pool floaties.
Oh yeah, the pool noodles.
To keep the distance, right? So now there's another restaurant that's in Maryland that is doing something similar, where they've made their tables into bumper tables. They're inner tubes, and so you go when they show you to your table, you kind of get down on your knees and you go up to the tube, and your table's all around, and everybody gets their own, and you can do this and not touch anybody else.
Be really uncomfortable to eat in an inner tube.
Well,
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're not going to get corona, but God forbid there's a fire because you're not getting out of that place.
I never even thought about that. It's got to be like a quick release, right?
Just gotta pop it.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's too hard to
Take
pop
your
an inner
fork.
tube.
Take your salad fork and just pop the inner tube and run away.
This dull butter knife will not even cut my inner tube.
Knew I should have got the porterhouse.
Goddamn steak knife.
Good part is when the fire gets close enough, it melts the tube and you're able to get out.
Ooh.
My hot steak right on this tube.
Oh boy. So in Michigan, they are opening up. They did, a couple of days ago, opened us up to gatherings of up to 10 people. And, the stay-at-home order has kind of been gently lifted to restaurants in some capacity. I know I went out to get food tonight, and people were coming in. You're still have to wear a mask, but that was the good news that I saw through a lot of the videos that were shared virally and news stories, that restaurants and stores are really sort of sticking to that. If you don't have a mask, you can't come in. We will take your card away. We will kick your ass out.
That's bullshit. I've been to plenty of stores where people have been coming in without masks and no one says anything.
Yeah, don't go to those stores. Those stores should be dead to you.
Well, I'm already there, so
No, but you there then, but don't go back. Well, are you telling me you refuse to boycott them?
Target's a pretty big chain, so I don't know. It's kind of hard to boycott.
I don't think I've been to Target probably 3 times in the last 3 weeks, and I've never seen anybody there without a mask. The only person I saw without a mask was the very first time I went there. The cashier didn't have one on. They were the only one, but they were still behind the plexiglass. I'm not saying it was right. They probably should have had it, but everybody else was
there were several people.
Initially was go to Target, which is awesome, but way better than Kroger, because no one wants to talk to anybody. Everybody wants to stay as far away from everybody as possible and not talk. Just get their Target shopping done and get the fuck out of there. But you're saying the Target you go to, it's just Thunderdome. It's the Wild West.
Well, yeah, we've been to several different Targets looking for our Funko Pops. So today was the Target out in Livonia.
You can shop online for that shit, right?
Dude, it's about the actual hunt and going and having to dig through boxes and see what's there. And sometimes
I found 2 really good ones today.
As I said, Danielle, whatever the dolls are telling you, don't listen.
You can do a hunt online. You don't have to do it in a store in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not even sure I would do it in Target without the pandemic. Shop for shit I don't need.
I was hoping maybe we'd get through like 25 minutes without referencing Funko Pop. But
no, you and I.
You were wrong.
I was,
and you lose.
Sadly mistaken.
Good thing you didn't bet on it.
Cory's like,
you see those guys right there?
I hope they come alive at night and kill you.
That'd be kind of scary, but I think quite fun.
Can we not wish that upon me?
Just see carrying Danielle down the hall.
That's not.
Oh my God.
So little tiny sleepy towns in Michigan, mid Michigan, northern Michigan, the upper part of the Lower Peninsula are opening up, but it's very slow. I have a bunch of friends that were planning on going up to their place up north, or going on a trip up north for the long weekend that we're heading into, but they all have cabins or cottages to go to, and all of them are saying that they have friends who are looking to join them, but the hotels still aren't opening up yet. So it's an interesting, I don't know how they're going to do hotels. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? I mean, how do you open up a hotel where you're supposed to social distance, and there's so many different common areas, from the check-in desk to the elevator to get to your room to after you leave the room and you check out, are they going to be able to go right away into the room and clean it?
I think what a lot of it's going to be is just like everything else in all the stores that have stayed, that are open. It's not going to be actually about how it's actually going to eliminate stuff, or how it's just going to be the perception that, oh yeah, people are, when you're standing in line waiting, people are going to be 6 feet apart. They'll have, someone at the desk, cleaning off the counter. I mean, obviously cleaning stuff helps, but standing 6 feet apart, that really doesn't, it's really not going to help. If you're going to touch something behind someone and contaminate yourself that way, then there's no point in standing 6 feet from someone. But I digress. As long as, people are doing it and, everyone feels comfortable that way, then that's probably what they're going to do. They'll put on a nice facade. But I mean, there's really no way if a hotel's going to open, you're going to encounter some kind of contamination.
I mean, I'm thinking about hotels as being like the dirtiest place you could possibly go on a trip anywhere. Like you've got everything, all the stories that everybody tells, the sheets that, you would want to look at underneath the black light, to people who go like, oh, I love getting a nice fresh cup of coffee in my hotel room in the morning. I'm like, don't ever use the coffee machine in a hotel room. You clean that shit with bleach maybe once a year. The mini bar that's there, the towels and bathrobes that you might get, like, are they clean? There's so many different things. I'm like, that's the one thing that I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do it, because they already were like sort of up against it with like, is this hotel clean? Is this hotel not clean? And now you have to deal with making sure it's clean before anybody's even going to go, anywhere near you.
Yeah, they when the mindset of a portly gentleman who was naked in that bathrobe sitting down without wiping very well the night before, you can keep it. I don't want the bathrobe.
I will sleep in my car.
Yep. Did you see where the state of Michigan's actually partnering up with Netflix?
No, do tell.
To release a streaming movie called The Gretsch That Stole Summer.
Yes.
It's going to be really great.
Wow. Jim Carrey as the Gretsch.
The Gretsch.
It's 5 hours to put that makeup on. See all those individual hairs everywhere.
Hey guys, someone's joined the room.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Sorry, what, Cory?
Someone's joined the room.
Oh, we have one person in the room? All right.
It's the Gretsch.
We are on the way.
Big Gretsch.
Wouldn't that be a bitch?
The Gretsch?
State's not the only thing I can shut down podcast.
Right. Well, what happened, guys?
You guys are not essential. And there was another story I was going to go over with you guys. I really wanted to. It's about a there was been like a 30 to 40 year mathematical puzzle about a knot. I'm not even going to go into explain it because I'm not sure I could. It's a mathematical problem that's been, between 30 and 40 years have been trying to solve it. And there's a grad student that decided to take it on as a homework assignment and solved it in less than a week.
I'd like to know the question so we can solve it right here and now.
Are you serious? All right. Yeah. This is going to be, we should probably introduce like a regular segment about like Bob tries to explain really difficult things.
Yeah, math segments are always things that keep people in the room.
Yeah, so I started by saying like I wanted to go through this guy because I did read it all the way to the end, and I'm like, it's a really kind of a heartwarming story if you take it all the math that I don't understand, which leaves me with like a paragraph and a half story that I could share, but it's really kind of impossible to do without getting into what the math is and how she solved it, which I can't really do. But it'd be really cool if I tried to do it.
I was going to say, Bob, could you give us an explanation of how exactly she did that equation?
All right. So
in this new segment we like to call Cory Does Math.
Buckle up, everyone. It's going to get bumpy.
Good, Cory, remind me, I'll send you a picture that I took of Jack probably like 7 or 8 years ago where he was doing homework in the living room and he did this pose. And then I sent him the picture, and he superimposed like math all the way across it. It's beautiful. Remind me, I'll send it to you.
Like the old, I can't remember the name of like the magazines they had in the classroom with the like the shooting star.
Yes.
Math.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's exactly what I pictured.
Yep. It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite pictures.
Bob, it wasn't like Costanza on the couch, was it?
No. It was a very smart ass picture. Oh, come on, dude. That's disgusting. All right, so this is actually from Quanta magazine. So already you're like, I don't understand what this magazine is. And so
I'm a weekly subscriber, actually.
When you pull up the website on the top, where they have the normal like the bar where you can go to the different sections of the website. The sections are broken down like you can click on physics, mathematics, biology, computer science, or all articles. Like just reading that, I'm like, nope, I'm not clicking on any of those. So
I'm already shutting down.
Right, exactly. So I'll tell you what. I will start reading here, and somebody just
you went to stop
out when you're like, no, that's enough. All right. So this girl named Lisa Piccirillo. It was the summer of 2018. She was at a conference. What was the topic of the conference, you ask? Great question. It was on low-dimensional topology and geometry. So she was probably out the bar the night before, boozing it up, networking, shaking hands, and then the next day at the conference, she heard this math problem. And she was a grad student at the University of Texas in Austin, and she's looking for some way to test these new techniques that she'd been developing as a grad student. So she said she didn't work on it during the day. She did it at night because she's like, I don't consider it to be real math. It feels like homework to me. Show off. So the question is, it was asked, the question was about what's called the Conway knot.
Yep.
Right.
Familiar.
So, as my cohorts all are familiar with,
legendary colleague
John Horton Conway. It was discovered over 50 years ago. The Conway knot is a slice of a higher dimensional knot. And what is the knot, you say? Let's scroll down a little bit so we could try to answer the question of what the fucking knot is.
Cory's on board with the Conway knot, but he can never ever do the twitty twirl. He can never.
Goddamn Conway twitty.
Conway twitty twirl. Nice. While most of us think of a knot as existing in a piece of string with two ends, mathematicians think of the two ends as joined, so the knot cannot unravel. So over the past 50 years, these knotted loops, they forms that help mathematicians solve physics, the structure of DNA, and a lot of those advancements have been made using some of this knot mathematics. The world is four-dimensional if we include time as a dimension, so it's natural for mathematicians to ask if there's a corresponding theory of knots in 4D space.
As one does.
I could go on. But essentially with this knot, there are, I think, there are thousands of knots that have been solved where the string in the knot had 12 or fewer crossings. They solved them all except for this one. This has 11 crossings in the knot, and no one has been able to figure it out. So skipping past all the math, she basically drew a picture and made a knot with the same trace as the Conway knot, and then used that knot to sort of overlay and extrapolate what would happen if it was the same. And the answer that she got allowed her to say, well, if this knot can be solved, that means the other one can be solved because they're so closely related, etc. And the whole mathematics world was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And at the end of it, they offered her they offered her a position in the faculty.
That's it?
Well, she's a grad student, dude. I mean, she had no job. She's a student full time.
Yeah, you know.
You see that as not being a very big congratulatory. You're not.
I'm like, fuck you guys. No one else was able to solve this shit. I want to be the fucking president of the school.
Cory Slusky will not take your offer.
I think for every year you dumb fucks have not been able to solve this, you need to write me a check for $5,000.
I would have demanded $5 million on the spot.
Oh my God.
I am the smartest man alive. $5 million.
Exactly.
Pay me, bitches.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, the Cory knot is something you definitely don't ever want to see.
I hope that in the future someone like pulls up this episode and they skip forward to 20 minutes in. They're like, oh man, they're talking about math. This is awesome. I love math.
These guys are brilliant. Now wait a second. They're just fucking idiots.
All right. So
speaking of idiots, I need to take a toy away from someone real quick because she's devouring it. So.
Oh,
sorry.
Jesus.
The new one?
Danielle,
come on.
Yes, the new one.
God damn that.
Go slow on you.
We just bought about 2 hours ago.
Wait,
she destroys everything.
This is what I don't understand. You know, no one knows your dogs better than you. You buy them a toy so that they can enjoy it, but you're upset that they're enjoying it too much, and so you have to stop.
Because it's supposed to be something she's not supposed to be able to destroy. But
how do you know that though?
Because I mean, according to what it says on the package.
Oh, so they lied to you on the package.
They lied very, very much.
All right. Well, you can't blame the dog, though. Next time you just got to be a better shopper.
No, she destroyed a Kong toy. And those are supposed to be like indestructible.
I don't know if they're indestructible. Nothing's indestructible unless you give your dog like a piece of steel.
She'd probably figure out a way to do it.
Cory, it's time. Bring out the yard gate.
See, she's upset.
Then he can't get back in.
Where the toy went.
How's he going to get back to the podcast?
That's right.
I'm trapped in here. All right. Well, that's booze news for today. Unless anybody else has got another story. Cory, you got a news story? No,
he can't hear you.
Can't hear you because his headphones are plugged in.
Cory, pull up your pants. Your pants are down. Stop showing your dick in the podcast. Oh
God.
Come on, Cory. Good Lord.
Man, it must be cold over there.
Danielle's got the heater on in that room, but the air.
No, that's a fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that explains things.
Well, I'm really surprised you can't hear it.
You didn't say whether it was on or not.
Is it on or not? It is on.
I thought it was a fan. You didn't say it was on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, mystery solved.
Speaking of all the fans.
No one's listened to this. Let's see. They started out with math, and now they're talking about Cory's dick and whether the fan is on.
And yep.
Exciting news.
Yeah.
We're removing toys from a dog.
Yep. Like I said, we are inching so much closer to Rogan. It's unbelievable.
Watch out, Joe.
Yeah. Cory, take your time.
I do put another chew in and top off my drink.
Yeah, take your time, buddy. It's not like we're doing a podcast or anything.
I know. Nothing important going on here.
We see.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked in the kitchen there and forgot we were doing a
was there
podcast.
something shiny that caught your attention?
There was, and it was contained in this bottle that is the size of a fifth. It's got a little red label on it.
Is it that time already?
I refer to it as the Cuddy.
The Cuddy? Like Cuddy Sark?
Like the McGillicuddy.
No, I don't like the Cuddy. There's already a liquor with Cuddy in the name.
Yeah, but
you could say the Doctor. I mean, does anybody else refer to other liquors as the Doctor? Or Doc?
Ooh.
Doc Mac?
I'm sure there is. There has to be.
All right.
But yeah, we made a special trip today to pick up some apple pies. So.
Oh, okay. You did get it. Awesome.
I did.
All right. So why didn't you grab it when you were in the kitchen?
See, sir, that's where I'm stealthy in my ways. As a matter of fact, I did grab it when I was in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And I was able to produce it in the living room without you guys even knowing or seeing.
Well, when I think Cory Schnozzcast, I think stealth. That's what I think.
It's because of your
quantum mechanics and stealth.
Yeah.
It's because the camera angle and you being so short, your shirt hangs below the angle of the camera, so no one could even see if it was in one of your pockets.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Sounds like a terrible theory.
I just like watching Danielle when you start going off on those tangents, buddy. All right, so Danielle, do you have a shot? Are you joining us tonight or no?
I'd have to go get it from him.
So you can try the apple pie.
I'll try the apple pie.
Okay, why don't you go take a walk and grab it? And we'll hold down the fort. Nick Bader.
So I'm sorry. When you Google the Dr. Liquor, Dr. McGillicuddy's is the first thing that shows up.
Yes, I like that better.
Yeah.
Doctor's in. I'll grab one as well.
All right, Cory. I'm thinking. I want to do tonight. I want to go back to that list of that pick a number between 1 and 100, and we'll pull a topic.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we can do that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, we got to come up with a name for this segment.
Ooh.
The only thing I could come up with was Schnozzcast scenario. But I was drinking at the time.
I couldn't tell. That's an easy one to say too.
Right, when you're drunk. You know what?
Schnozzcast
Schnozzcast scenario.
You have to be drunk to say the segment, otherwise it just doesn't
Kinda
sound
do.
right.
Yeah. So therefore, this should probably always come at the end of the episode.
It's just a scenario. I think we should wrap it up, guys.
I really just want to hear Danielle say, "Oh, is it time for the Schnozzcast scenario?"
Well, she's about to be back on, so we can get her to do
Oh,
it.
it's going to be priceless. Hey, Danielle.
What?
Remember that segment we did a few weeks back where I asked you guys to pick like number between 1 and 100, and I would use that number to pick the corresponding like situation?
Yeah.
Okay, we wanted to try to do that again, but we're trying to come up with a good name for the segment. And what we have kind of settled on unofficially is the Schnozzcast scenario.
You can't even say it when you're sober.
I know. You have to slur it, deliberately slur it.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about that?
Sounds like a plan.
If I were to say, "Hey Danielle, what's the name of that segment we just made up?" You know you're gonna give it a try?
I only kind of half remember.
Oh, come on.
2 words.
I can't.
Well, one's
I can't
kind of a
have
word.
both my kids and my friends not listening when I talk.
What's that, Bob? You say something?
Exactly. All right, I'll be right back.
Right.
So, yeah, Nick, we were pretty impressed with that store.
Thank you.
Well, not as if you built it or anything, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, he consulted me on a couple things.
How did he?
Yes.
He being, what was that? What's his name that runs it?
We don't name drop anyone on the podcast unless they endorse us.
Oh, is that right?
Pay us in cold hard cash. All right, well, it's time then for another Schnozzcast shot. So if we have anybody who happens to be listening to this, please join us. Let's assume that it's in the future and one of us has died in a spectacular fashion, and therefore we're just a curiosity. And you're like, I wonder what it sounded like when that guy was alive before he got his ass was eaten by a crocodile. Let's listen to that. Go back to the episode. So what we used to do is we would do a shot and want you to do one with us. So go get one. You can pause us. And we're back.
We're back.
Here's to you.
Ooh, the doctor is in, my friends.
Oh, man.
I think the doctor's out for Danielle.
No, it's not bad. It was very cinnamony.
Come on.
That's nowhere near as much cinnamon as Fireball.
What's in an
not
apple
like
pie?
Fireball cinnamon, like sweet cinnamon, like good cinnamon.
That's right. The sweetest of the cinnamon from the freshest apple pie in summertime.
That's right.
That's not too bad.
You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, I got to get me one of those.
Yeah, that Dimetap you're drinking over there, Bob. I don't know.
Isn't Dimetap purple?
What color is that?
I was gonna say it does look very purpley.
It's red. It's cherry.
Cherry.
Well, it's like Robitussin.
Yeah.
Does it taste like cough syrup?
No, it doesn't.
Well, that's good.
Put some tussin on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tastes like
But I pretend like it does, and I feel better already.
it tastes like cherry NyQuil.
Oh,
Yeah. Haven't sneezed in days.
I'm getting sleepy just thinking about it.
No, that's the math doing that to you.
Cory,
That too.
Cory does get the NyQuil sleeps pretty easily. I've seen it with my own eyes.
That was children's Benadryl.
No, but the NyQuil sleeps when he tried to cure a cold by taking a shot of NyQuil and 2 shots of Jack, and he said he woke up 14 hours later.
Felt amazing.
It's because you were in a coma.
Basically.
Whole body shut down. Your organ just decided to stop functioning.
This is called the hibernate shot.
This is called the good night.
Right.
Oh, this shot called hibernation sounds pretty good.
What's this other shot called? Instant death. That looks delicious.
Right.
All right. Did anybody happen to fulfill their gentleman's agreement? Oh, all right. this is pretty awesome because I'm loving the fact that we're kind of like rolling through these and not taking like months to do the follow up.
To watch them.
Yeah. It almost means we're responsible. It's almost as like we have viewers depending on this.
Almost.
Almost. All right, let's go alphabetically by height, and we'll start out with Mr. Nicholas Bader.
Yes, sir.
What was your agreement, sir?
My agreement was to watch something called Jacob. I had to watch.
Sorry, that was a very thick accent. What were you supposed to watch again?
Jacob.
Jacob. Okay.
Jacob from Mr. Cory Kelsky.
Okay.
It was a 45-minute documentary.
You son of a bitch.
It was wonderful. I love the fact that it was only 45 minutes. I don't know if I could have done another 45 minutes. However, it was very interesting. Guy that really few people know about, who has like 13 different degrees. He's a doctor. He's a lawyer. He's got his master's and all these different things. He's teaches fiction writing and got his master's in like theater and like all this other stuff, and writes all these books and plays and novels. And his PhD is, I think, his MD. It was really interesting. It was about the life of him. I mean, you can tell with most people that are that intellectual that they tend to be socially awkward. They, have the availability to just photographic memory of anything. Another thing he did was he was a historian. He wanted to be a tour guide, and apparently
that's right. I forgot about that.
Some old lady in the city of New York and who's been there for 100 years said, hey, you got to know everything about the city to be a tour guide. So he said he just looked at a map of the city and studied it, and now knows everything in New York. So he's literally walking through the park, and he's like, oh, in 1776, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. And I guess when he was a kid, he used to name the presidents from the first president to the most current. And they were talking to him about it, and he started laughing. He's like, oh, God. He's like, I don't even think I've done that since I was a kid. But if you're asking Washington, and he just started going on, and he went all the way up to Trump within, I think, 11 seconds. But the guy's just brilliant. It's a good recommendation. I liked it. Definitely very interesting.
I think the part that was so interesting to me about it, like the guy's so unassuming, and you, like Nick said, you've never heard him. Once when you see him pop up on screen, you're like, oh, okay, I've never seen this dude anywhere on any film, any other documentary, nothing. But he's absolutely brilliant. Like how he's able to even just keep any of that knowledge, and as much of it as he has is unbelievable. And
he's relatively young.
Yeah, he's not an old guy by any means.
He's like maybe late 40s.
And the spoiler alert, if more than that's already occurred, but they were talking about his degrees, and he was listing them off, and they're putting them up on screen, one by one, and they kind of asked him, like, not to be self-absorbed, but are you aware if you're the person with the most degrees in the United States? He's like, oh no, he's like, there's like two guys above me, one guy has like I think he's like two more than I do, and he's like, another guy has 20 of them from U of M. He's like, come to find out, he's like, his wife is a school administrator for U of M, so he goes to school for free. He's like, so that's my next goal in life, is to find a wife that's a school administrator, so I can just keep on getting free degrees.
Right.
So,
and it's not like his degrees were from bullshit places.
Harvard.
I think he has degrees, he said, from almost every Ivy League school.
Yeah, he studied law at Harvard.
Yep.
And while he was studying law at Harvard, he actually went to I can't think of what school it was in New York, but he approached one of the professors and said that he wanted to teach fiction writing.
Why you?
Yeah, and the professor was looking at his resume and was like, "Wait, it says you're currently attending law school." He's like, "Oh yeah, I am." He's like, so you're going to attend law school and teach fiction writing here? Like, that's a huge commute. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, okay, but he's like, it's law school. Like, that has to be hard. He's like, no, it's really not that hard. He's like, so you're studying law at Harvard, and you're going to commute to New York and teach fiction writing, all in your lifetime. He's like, yeah, it's no big deal. And he said, sure enough, he pulled it off.
He said, normal people in law school, let alone Harvard, that's your full-time job. And he's like, it's really not that big of a deal.
So yeah, very, very humble dude. And like I say, I was pretty impressed with the documentary. So that's I give Nick the recommendation. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Where was this documentary found on?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Selesky, you're up.
I had Miss Americana.
Danielle gave you that one?
Yeah, documentary on Taylor Swift.
Right.
But before he knocks it, he's the one that mentioned it.
You're breaking up there.
Anyways,
Anyways, moving on.
Just saying.
No, it was interesting. I think I did text Danielle like within the first 15 minutes. One of the things that she was like kind of going on about, like her even starting out as a child, and I kind of pulled one from Nick's book. I told Danielle that basically Taylor Swift is just a Labrador, because she said right in the first like 10 minutes of the film, she's like, yeah, ever since starting from when I was 5 until now, she's like, all I do is look for a pat on the head and a good job. Like, Jesus Christ, that's what you're doing all this for, is just a little pat on the head and hey, good job, kid. So clearly you could tell, like, okay, this isn't, I mean, there's some rough waters ahead for Miss Swift. But it went through, so her career, not necessarily year by year, but broke it up into several different years. And I gotta say, she is pretty impressive with her actual talent, and then being as big of a celebrity as she is, and still staying so under the radar. It seemed like a lot of times when they were filming her in whatever, she was in the studio. She wasn't out and about and, going from hotel or parties, to this or that, or it was just, she was always in the studio recording with her producer. And even, I don't know, Danielle, maybe you can answer this, but the love interest that she spoke of in the documentary, it didn't even mention who that actually was, and it never even showed him.
They've been together for like 3 years, and they barely have been out in public, but it's like the best relationship she's actually had.
Well,
through everything.
I'm not sure if you know this, but she has a very public history of dating dudes, and then things go south, and then she writes songs about what assholes they are. Mm-hmm. So for anybody to date her, I mean, things may be going well right now for this mystery guy, but if history is any judge, he's gonna get his in the end.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. She talks about in the documentary how much different it is, this relationship.
Than like she did that with the other guys too.
No. I've loved Taylor Swift since she started, and no, this is like totally different.
Well, so if you love the Grateful Dead and you follow them, you normally would call you a Deadhead. For Taylor Swift fans, what are you called?
A Swiftie.
A Swift, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cory made the
fortunate.
Cory made the observation that there were some rough waters ahead for Miss Swift, and I thought the obvious joke on that would have been that there's some swift waters ahead for Miss Taylor, but I guess not. We don't all think alike.
No, that's true. But I will say that I always kind of felt like Cory was taking a page out of the book, where he's like this intensely famous person, but he's very private. So no one really knows the real Cory Selesky, because he keeps all that shit deep inside. Right. Surrounded by his entourage and his agents and his handlers.
Keep it way down.
Yeah, there's definitely a wall between the Cory that the world sees and then the private, personal Cory behind closed doors.
He doesn't have any other levels. That's what you see. But I'm interested in him having a handler.
Right.
Well, in the biz, I think they call it by a different name.
Yeah. So I mean, it was interesting.
How long was that documentary?
I don't even. I kind of as I was watching, I watching kind of in segments, so I don't even really know.
Time lost all meaning.
Yeah, completely gone. Completely gone.
I think it might be 2 hours.
Oh, was it that long?
It just flew by.
Jesus.
Time flies with an amazing documentary on Taylor Swift.
Time goes by swiftly.
The only question I have for you, sir, is when you're watching the documentary, as you were watching it, did it ever cross your mind? Did you ever think to yourself, God, I feel like I've heard Nick say all of these things before?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like,
He gets that feeling with a lot of things in life.
I'm like, Nick clearly wrote the entire script for this documentary.
Thank you, Cory.
Taylor's not saying a word of her own right now.
All right, Ms. Finn.
Hmm?
What was your gentleman's agreement?
Not while she's nursing.
I had to watch Dark on Netflix.
I know who prescribed that to you, Mr. Bader.
You are welcome.
All right, so how many minutes did you make it through before you said fuck this?
I actually almost got through the 3rd episode, but
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh boy.
I got a weighted blanket and I fell asleep. So
Z.
But you made it through 2 whole episodes.
yeah, no, I actually in the beginning it was a little rough because the dubbing is distracting.
Was that weighted blanket? Did it have a beard?
What? No. Bob's face. He doesn't know what button to push.
No.
I didn't. It worked though.
No, it did not.
No, I didn't.
No.
We didn't hear anything.
You told a joke.
Huh?
You told a joke, did you not?
Yeah, but you
Nothing
had
came
no audio.
through.
You had no audio.
I have no audio. You didn't hear it?
Not from the button, no.
But
that's okay. Danielle, continue.
Yep.
But I mean, besides that part of it, it's actually like a really interesting storyline so now I'm kind of like hooked. Like I need to watch it because I want to know what is going on and what's happening. But it seems from like what I've grasped from the first 2 episodes is that it's kind of history repeating itself to like the same group of people. That's what it seems like anyways. But I'm kind of confused because now there's some kind of time travel in it and like into the past. I don't know. It is really good though. It's really interesting.
It's weird because if you had it on mute, they look very American almost, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like, they're walking around in lederhosen or anything like that. Like, oh, this is a German show. I mean, you wouldn't notice it.
Well, I'm like, there's the big thing it seems like is there's something to do with this, what the heck is it called? The nuclear power plant. And they, like, the last episode, they mentioned something about how Chernobyl had just, like, happened and they're not doing stuff like that, but there's very Chernobyl-y things happening.
Chernobyl-y things. I think we found our title for this one, Bob.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that word before.
Chernobyl-y things.
You're welcome.
And maybe next time just set the weighted blanket aside.
No, I got the 2 episodes in before I put the weighted blanket on.
Or throw it a liver snap,
I didn't know it was going to make me fall asleep.
It's a weighted blanket!
Listen, it's been a long week.
You either fall asleep immediately or you get suffocated. That's what happens.
Oh, I fell asleep like almost immediately.
And don't throw it at anybody because there was a YouTube channel.
I don't think I could pick it up to throw it at somebody.
One of the like prank things I watch on Facebook, where the guys live all together and they all fuck with each other. That was one of their like things that they did. One of their reoccurring pranks was
throw weighted blankets at each other.
And you just see like one of their buddies walk and he goes, boom! And they go flying. They're like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
They're so heavy.
I know.
That would take a lot of effort to chuck it at somebody.
Yeah, I came out in the living room and someone looked awfully content, all snuggled up under the brand new weighted blanket.
Oh, I was sleeping. There was no content. I was out.
Sleeping with a big old smile on her face.
One of Nick's recommendations will always do that to the ladies.
Oh my god!
I believe. Wait, where'd that recommendation come from, Danielle?
A weighted blanket?
Yeah.
No, dark.
Oh.
I was like, I know I probably talked about the weighted blanket before.
Sorry, I got stuck.
Dude,
on the
you
weighted
can
blanket.
understand how we might be confused and think perhaps you might be trying to take credit for something here.
Right.
No.
It's usually what happens.
No.
But I really did like it, Nick, so I'm going to have to finish it because now I need to know what the hell's going on.
That's all right, and it just gets more confusing. Like Gina said, she said you have to pay attention.
Well, and like that's the thing too. So like the opening scene, there's a letter, and it says to open it no sooner than like November 5th at like a certain time. And at the time when the show starts, it says it's like June, and I was like, oh my god, if I've got to sit through like 5 months of like garbage and not find out what's in, you still don't know what's in the damn letter though. If you open the letter and it's all in German, I'm like, well, that's cool. I don't know what the fuck it says.
They'll come back to it.
I'm sure they do. So frustrating. I just want to know what the letter says.
Who's your favorite character so far?
I don't know if I have one.
You don't have to know their names, but if you could like describe them.
What was that guy?
Hans.
That guy's my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't think
The
I
guy
have
with the
one
shirt who said the words in the place.
And the hair.
Yeah, he had the hair.
No, I don't have one so far.
Wore clothes throughout most of the episode.
Yeah, he was the only one. Real easy to spot.
Everyone else was butt naked. Except for that one guy.
All right. We could skip me if you want.
Why would we skip you?
Fuck. Okay. So I had to watch an episode of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
That had to have been from Joe, right?
Oh, of course it was.
Wait a second. How'd you only get? Oh, that's right. Because he said episodes were like an hour long or whatever.
No, each episode is a movie.
Oh,
So the
okay.
format of the show is if you're not familiar with Joe Bob Briggs, he used to be on Showtime like years and years and years ago. And the format's a few changes, but it's roughly the same. Basically, he takes a movie. It's like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of, except he doesn't sit in front of the movie making fun of it. He'll start off and he goes on this rant. Like as soon as I got about a minute into the rant, I'm like, I know why Joe loves this song. It's literally he and Joe are like brothers. He went off on this spacey rant about something, and it was all like stream of consciousness. He was bitching about this and ripping into that, and what's the problem with this, and I don't understand why people do that. And then he would go into the movie. So I had to pay for this because I couldn't find any free anywhere.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, so I paid for one. I watched the movie was Heathers with Christian Slater and Winona Ryder from back in the late 80s. It was either that or some sort of B-movie schlock film like Wolfcop or some other ones where they're like it came from outer space.
The old classic Wolfcop.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost just out of sheer curiosity watched Wolfcop. If it had been free, I would have. But I'm like, I'm not paying for Wolfcop. I might be the person in the world who's ever paid for Wolfcop.
Cory's face is on the cover.
I'm like, if I got to pay for this, I'm going to watch it. So I had seen Heathers before, but it had been a long time. I couldn't even remember any finer points. So he goes on this rant, and then they start the movie. And you basically get to watch the movie, but then where there would normally be like a commercial break if it was on regular TV. Come on, Danielle, stay with me.
Dude, I had to go back to work this week.
Dude.
I'm dying here.
Well,
I'm actually not really that tired. I just
your
have
boyfriend keep you up late at night.
I have a lot of yawning happening.
So wherever there would be a commercial, like if it was on network television, then you're back to Joe Bob. And now Joe Bob's going to go through, like he'll have some segment called the Drive-In Totals, where he's like, here's the number of times someone dropped the F-bomb in the theatrical release of this movie. Here's how many dead bodies. Here's how many cheerleaders had sex that you didn't see in the back of, so there's all that kind of shit. Then you go back to the movie. And so he basically breaks it up like 4 or 5 times throughout the film. And you get to watch the film, but you always got to keep going back to Joe Bob Briggs. So the problem with The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs is that if you don't like Joe Bob Briggs, the whole thing really sucks. You're better off just finding the movie and watching the movie.
So when you say you realize why Joe is a fan of Joe Bob Briggs, so like every now and again we'll have the dogs out for a walk, and Rue will spot another pit bull, and she kind of is like, "Oh, I kind of recognize you. You're one of my people." So you're telling me that like when Joe turned that on, like almost like there was a different dimension that opened up, and there was actually someone that he was like, "Oh, this guy's all right. I'm gonna actually watch this and not bitch about it."
Like two babies seeing each other in a grocery store.
Yeah. I feel like there's some sort of wormhole that opened, and there's things started moving crazy in Joe's mind. Like, oh yeah, okay, I can listen to this dude, and if he's was completely happy about it, that's absolutely mind blowing.
I feel like the thought that probably if I could just project into what Joe was thinking at that moment, I think he was thinking, oh my God, I rant like this all the time, and people tell me to shut the fuck up. But here's a guy who's getting paid to have his own show where he
can
gets
make it.
And he gets to do the same rants. I'm like, that I want to be this guy when I grow up. That's my thought.
I'm so glad I didn't have to pay to watch a movie with Joe, seemingly.
Well, I think that's the first one I've had to pay for. Everything else has been on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, something like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll bite the bullet once. But if this week, if I got another, you got to pay to watch, I might go and pick something else. I just took my turn in the barrel last week. So that's a gentleman's agreement for this week. Do you guys want to pair up and do another one?
We can do that.
So Cory, you got your pick from Danielle last time. Danielle, you got your pick from Nick. And Nick, you got your pick from who?
Cory.
Yep. All right. Why don't I'm trying to think of how we could. I could try to hit random on this formula thing in the Excel that I've got. If you guys want to go with that, or we could do it some other way. It's up to you.
You just say random. That's fine.
All right. I have another copy of this with just the four of us in there. So Cory's got himself. Can't do with that. All right, here we go. Bob draws Nick. Cory draws Danielle. There's the revenge factor. Danielle draws me, and Nick draws Cory.
All right.
All right. So let's. We don't have to do it right now unless everybody's telling me they already have something. But
I already got mine.
I got about 58 minutes in. Why don't we do one more shot and then we can take a break, and then we'll come back and
dole out gentleman's agreement.
Yeah,
the punishment.
Sounds like a plan.
All righty. What's the count in the room, Cory? Is it negative numbers or?
10.
Holy cow. Here's to every one of you 10 people, and you having no plans for tonight that are better than us. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo! All right. Let's take a break, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes for part 2.
Sounds good. See you in 15.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 74
Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to episode 74 of the Schnozzcast, everyone.
Oh my god.
Falling apart over there. Falling apart.
It's like a
Are you
circus.
gonna pick it up over there?
Yeah,
Like,
hang on.
Welcome back to episode 74 of the
Yeah,
Schnozzcast.
Turn
Oh
off
my
your
God.
phone. Falling apart over there. Falling apart.
It's like a
Yeah.
circus.
pick it up over there. You
Danielle.
All right, someone's got their phone on.
It's me.
Come on, Danielle.
Oh my
I'm going the
God.
wrong way.
That's
I
Bush
forgot I
League.
turned up my iPad when we were on break. Sorry.
Bush League. All right, let's do that again, Nick.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 74.
All right. So, everybody got something now for a gentleman's agreement? Ready to do the assignments?
Do, you
I
want
think I think so.
do we want to explain to everyone that doesn't maybe
Oh,
know?
for the new listeners. That's a great idea. All right. So, what is gentleman's agreement? If you're new to the second half, or if you're totally confused about what we did in the first half, essentially what we have done is create a segment called Gentleman's Agreement, in which we pick a partner and assign a movie or a TV series something to watch that we would recommend. We try to do it to expand each other's horizons, to recommend new things, and not just like going, oh, you should watch this. And they go, oh, cool. It's a great recommendation. Then they never fucking watch it. Here we actually have to watch it, come back, give an oral review, and we give good oral. So it all works out in the end. So we have just completed that round, so we're about to do new assignments. I can go first. My pick is Nick Bader. I have drawn Nick Bader in the Gentleman's Agreement. And Nick, I'm going to assign you Fleabag on Amazon Prime.
That's not just a clever way of you able to name call at me on the podcast.
No, if that was the case, I'd call you Dickhead on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
This
I hope this is a dog movie.
this was my pick of the week a ways back, but it's a great series, 30-minute episodes, so that means you got to watch 4 of them.
4?
Yeah, it's a
30
2-hour
minutes?
movie.
Most movies are like an hour and 45
But I will
minutes.
tell you that I think there's 2 seasons, and maybe there's 3. No, I think there's just, and I think there are only 6 episodes each. So you're almost going to be, you're 2/3 of the way through the first season if you do 4.
So we should all be doing something with roughly 2 hours, right?
I mean, generally, if you gave me a series, I would watch, like if they were hour-long episodes, I would watch the first 2. That's what I did for Turn.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but I think you will really like it.
And Danielle did the same thing with Dark, so
She did.
yeah, Fleabag. So are there humans speaking, or is it all interpretive dog
Yeah.
dancing?
Fleabag was written by this lady called Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who she won a bunch of Emmys for the show. It's a British sitcom, but there's no laugh track. So Cory, nothing bad you could say about it.
The Brits know how to do it. I'll tell you that much.
And it's better off. It's live action. Obviously, it's a story, but you're better off literally going in knowing nothing.
Okay. Is it on Netflix?
Amazon Prime Video.
Do I have to rent it?
No.
Okay.
If you have Prime, it should be free.
I do.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so we're moving down then. Cory, Drew, Danielle.
For Danielle, I'm going to go with Wrong Missy on Netflix.
What?
Wrong Missy.
It's about
Wrong
Missy.
Missy?
Yeah.
Missy Elliott. It's a documentary.
Okay.
It's a Adam Sandler directed film. It's one of the new ones that just came out, starring David Spade. And I had some free time the other night. Was able to watch it.
Your face.
And it's tough because most of the stuff that we watch, we end up seeing it together at some point. Both see it. So this is one I know that you have not seen. It's a
Watch with
comedy.
you if you want
It's
me to.
good.
Okay. I'll trust you.
I hope
I'm
so.
assuming that's just because you couldn't find any Funko Pop documentaries.
I'm
Oh,
sure there
God.
has to be some.
Now he's going to look that up.
Well,
Moving right along.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the heads became so big.
We are still talking about Funko Pops, aren't we?
Yes.
Danielle, you drew me.
Yes. Have you watched the Coachella documentary?
No. Is that on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
20
Yeah,
years.
20 years in the desert.
Yeah.
I've actually, I think the last time Krabby was on, he recommended that. So I would love
We
to.
watched it right after Krabby talked about it.
This might be one of the very first times I've gotten a pick of something I actually want to watch. So
It was really good. I really was like kind of meh about it. Like I don't know really much about Coachella other than a bunch of celebrities
Say
go
it.
out there and party all week or weekend or whatever it is. But no, it was actually really good and very interesting.
Awesome. That's I appreciate that. And that leaves Nick, who drew Cory.
Nah, fuck. Can we get Joe? Can we get Joe on the podcast real quick?
I just had to watch The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. You really want to bring yourself down to that level?
So,
It's gonna be some sort of dubbed fucking
Danielle,
subtitle.
you have Hulu, correct?
Nope.
This is
No
gonna be
Hulu.
this is gonna be good.
I already know what you're getting. So,
So do I.
Deleting the subscription right
So
now.
do I.
So
you can. It's my subscription.
So, first 2 episodes, season 1, episode 1 and 2 of Lost.
Oh, good pick. Good
Which
pick.
Nick told me, I go, I've been wanting to give that to him.
Have you seen it, Danielle?
Yes,
The
all
whole-
of it.
Oh,
I
Cory.
loved it.
Cory, this is gonna be amazing. It's literally one of my top 5 shows.
It's
It's
really
so
good.
There's a reason why I haven't seen it yet.
There's
It's
your best
really
friends.
good.
Your best friends are telling you how cool it was.
Yeah, all of them. All of us have seen all the episodes. We all love them.
Fuck, Amy had a last party show, or she used to have Lost parties at her house all the time when it was
I
on.
never had a lost party, but I did have
No.
my brother-in-law Pat. He and I did get together to watch a couple of the cliffhanger episodes.
I'll
Yeah,
watch
first-
it with you.
First 2 episodes.
I've been wanting to watch it again.
I've watched it maybe 2 times all the way through.
Hmm.
And this past week I started on the 3rd time, and it still blows me away like how cool of a show it is. You know,
That it even got made in the first place.
Right?
It's a batshit crazy idea on paper.
but it is cool, Cory, because there's a lot of good scenery, a lot of hot girls in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So if nothing else, it'll keep your interest with that.
Yay.
Look, there's no laugh track. There's no subtitles. What's the fucking problem?
That's true.
And you didn't totally hate Dexter.
He could have given you some Norwegian show, some Norwegian
Yeah,
sitcom.
you could have gotten Dark. You would hate Dark. You would absolutely hate it. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, Cory would be so pissed if he was watching
whatever the Danish version of Friends is.
Oh my god. I'd quit the podcast.
Yeah, you would. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Swedish version of Friends.
It was Danish, but same thing.
Whatever.
All right, so that was gentleman's agreement. We are gonna see if we can keep the momentum going and come back next weekend with everybody having watched their assignment and to give a review.
Cory, don't worry. Next week, if I get you again, you're going to get Mina Freundin.
That sounds better than Lost.
Oh, that's just the German friends.
Great.
You'll like it.
You'll like it. Come on, Cory, you'll like it. Okay, so let's pivot from there into a segment called "Getting to Know the Schnozzcast." That's a name I just came up with.
I was gonna
Like,
say.
is this a new segment?
No, well, it's the same segment, but it didn't have a name before. In the segment, I'm cribbing from I took a page out of Nick Bader's book, and I have a website source of which I shall not reveal, but it has 100 getting to know you questions. So this is getting to know the Schnozzcast. So what we're going to do here is we're going to ask our the most beautiful person on the podcast. No, it's not Nick Bader or Cory. It's Ms. Danielle Finn to come up with a number between 1 and 100.
5.
Okay, 5 it is. Oh, Oh.
I don't like when you say that before you read the question.
Yeah.
Well, no, I say it as I'm reading the question because I didn't look at the questions before. Like I don't have them memorized. That would be silly because I'm just waiting for you to pick a number and then I'm going to read whatever the number is. But in the interest of not cheating, number 5 question is, what would you change about yourself if you could? So this has a tendency, I think, generally to be a deeply personal question and potentially revealing. So I'm not going to say like we should pick another number necessarily, but that's why I went ooh, when I read it. So
Off we go.
Off we go. Well, let's just start with the one person who really probably wouldn't change anything about himself because everything is perfect, Mr. Cory Selesky.
Oh. Well, as I was ascending Mount Everest, reading my what was the name of that magazine? Quantum, whatever.
Quanta, yeah.
Quantum Leap.
I think the only thing I could have changed at that point was to make Mount Everest a little bit higher.
Not enough of a challenge for you.
Yeah, just a little too easy.
This is kind of this is a resume question. This is literally when you're sitting across the desk and they're like, so what are your weaknesses? And you got to come up with something that doesn't sound like you're an idiot, but something where you're like, oh, he has way too much attention to detail. He needs to kind of like sit back and relax and take some time for himself every once in a while because he's just a workaholic. And that's my big weakness. You got to come up with something like that. This is kind of one of those questions where, what would you change about yourself if you could change anything?
Just care too much.
I want to say that was from Step Brothers.
No,
No.
I know there's a lot of interview questions in there. I don't think that was one. That was
no? Okay.
That was an original.
Stalling.
Yeah, come on, Cory. What would you change?
Well, as you guys know, I have superb time management skills.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
My superb time management skills.
I think Nick and I made the same thing.
Yeah, no. If there would be one thing I could change, it would be my how to plan things out a little better and kind of understand how time works a little better.
I was gonna say your whole life is planning things out.
No. There's no point. There's no planning of any sort in,
hold on.
My life.
Don't you have I hesitate to call it a diary, but a journal?
A journal, yeah.
That you keep where you write down. So you write down your thoughts like at the end of the day, like here's what happened to me today. But do you ever have like a thought about having like a reverse journal in which you write about the things that are going to happen the next day?
Ooh.
And maybe therefore then plan for them a little better.
Call it a schedule.
I mean a calendar, something like that. It's a radical. Is that a Finnish term that you just used? Okay.
Schedule.
Yeah, no, that's just too much work to schedule everything out like that day by day.
Not much
Where can we find the Cory files of your everyday journaling online? Is there a website that you want to plug?
All currently secured on my laptop.
In a bunker.
One day I would like to maybe make a blog site where I release what I've come up with so far. But right now it's all for me.
I got to tell you, when you said the word release, in my head I just had a vision of someone taking a dump. I'm going to release this today.
Lots of releasing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I say kudos to you, sir, because that takes a little bit of inward thinking and self-realization to come up with what the rest of us already knew was probably the thing you should change.
Yeah, no, I know I downplay it, but I know my time management sucks, and I think something that can take 5 minutes can be done in 30 seconds, which clearly cannot. But
nothing you do. Breathing. When you breathe, that can't be done in 30 seconds. You can't do anything in 30 seconds. I don't know one thing that if my life depended on it, someone said, your friend Cory Selesky has 30 seconds to do this anything, and your life will be spared. And I'd be like, just aim so it counts.
Well, Danielle's life would probably be spared then.
Nick, would you say that the relationship between Cory and Danielle is probably been helped by the podcast, because when we're on the podcast, you give Cory so much shit for all of his shortcomings that she really doesn't have to do that, and therefore it's almost like a therapy session.
Did we have to say shortcomings? I mean, really, Bob? Come on. Hey, that was a low blow, man.
Hey, that's shortcomings is a broad term.
But I will say, though, even given my lack of planning and time scheduling, Danielle and I have never, for like a family event, because like her mom shows up, if it starts at 5.
He's trying to quantify it right now. Like, so in this category that is very narrow, these are things in which we've always been on time.
So for a family event, you and Danielle have never showed up on time? Is that what you were about to say?
We've always been on when have we ever been late to anything? We've never.
We were almost late for my cousin's wedding. We walked in right before they walked down the aisle.
Bullshit. We sat there for 25 minutes.
In the parking lot?
We should have sat in the parking lot for 25 minutes because there was nothing going on in the church.
He doesn't know how much anxiety he gives me when it comes to time.
Well, Danielle, when you have to blog about how late you were to your significant other's cousin's wedding, that takes some time in the parking lot on your laptop.
Right.
You got to type in your password. You got to go to your secure file. You got to read your blonde eyelashes into the computer. It takes some time.
Yeah.
Biometric scan completed. Blonde eyelashes recognized.
So that's my thing I would fix. There you go.
Gotcha. Well done, sir. Well, we give you a lot of shit, but we love you, Cory.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, I guess.
So let's take some of the pressure off you now and go to your better half and pose that question to her.
Me, if I could change one thing, it would probably be to let things kind of go, not stress about things I can't control.
Okay. So are these particular things or just things that you feel like you wish you could change, but you can't?
I mean, I'm trying, but it's hard.
Okay. Can you give us
I just let anything unknown bother me more than I probably should.
So you're saying you like to plan things?
Are you saying that you don't like getting stressed about not knowing when you're going to show up at events?
Maybe.
It's a great yin and yang.
It really is.
It couldn't be better that if Cory said, you know what, I really hate not being able to hit things with hammers. I loved hitting things with hammers. And I'm like, oh, Danielle? She's like, I really just kind of hate getting hit with a hammer all the time.
See,
I had this problem before his time management skills, so.
I more envision Paula Abdul and the cartoon cat in that video, 2 steps forward, I take 2 steps back. Her and Cory like doing one of those tit for tat songs.
So Danielle, are you saying that you are a glutton for punishment? Like you knew there was a problem, but you're like, I think I'm going to hitch my wagon to a guy who had that very problem.
I didn't know he had that problem before.
It probably didn't take him long to figure it out.
He was late for our first date.
Yeah,
so.
Was he late for your first date?
Way late. Almost. I thought he was standing me up because he was so late.
He's had this problem.
I think it's ironic that you had a metaphor of, again, pointing out that Cory is like a slow horse, saying that we're hitching wagons to him.
Stallion.
Hitching wagons to him, just sitting there eating grass. We'll get there.
I think what you're looking for is bum steer.
Bum steer. You
Pack
hold your
mule.
tongue.
About to be glue. The slow death march to the glue factory.
Yeah, we'll get there, Miss Finn.
So you're saying, so that kind of, all right. So for you to hear Cory saying the thing he'd change about himself must feel good then, because it directly could improve your life almost immediately.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about immediately there, Bob. Let's not rush things.
Well, Cory, it's not like we asked you to get taller. This is something that you can start right now. It's achievable. It's immediate. You know.
But as Nick would point out, things with me take time. So, therefore, this is
absolutely plausible for you to do.
This is the long game, Bob. The long game.
You could legitimately turn over a new leaf while we're on this podcast.
I mean, to be honest, at this point, I know what I got myself into. So.
Yeah,
I should hope so. On the 6th year,
year number
I finally realized what I got myself into.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Taking a sip
It's
from
a
the
good
Cory
balance.
pond.
Good balance.
Drink deep from the well of Cory.
Right. So how about you, Bob?
Oh, man, there's so many things. Where do I even begin? I feel like I should bring in like a panel of guests to comment on this.
A panel of X's?
Yeah, exactly.
Like on Frasier?
Well, guess who I have on standby right now, Bob?
Right.
Just so you know, we have girlfriends 4, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Girlfriends, don't say your name, but please tell Bob one thing that bothered you.
Just a blurred screen.
Yeah.
Actually, when I used to date Bob.
Total anonymity. I would love if we had the capabilities of doing that.
That would be pretty sweet.
Man, I guess I guess the thing that would probably change, the thing that would probably make an immediate impact and improve several people's lives, even though they wouldn't realize it, is if I stopped being a softie and
Harden up a little.
What's that?
Nothing.
See Alice.
You're right. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this in the podcast before, where I just I tend to just take on all the tasks around the house on my own because I don't have the patience. So I guess I probably need to work on my patience in the interest of helping other people grow and learn valuable skills that they probably should have when they're becoming adults. I've legitimately abdicated all responsibility for that in the interest of, with no patience, just getting it done.
Bob, you realize Indy lacks opposable thumbs, so he can't do a lot of the stuff that you've tasked him with. So I'd stop being so hard on the.
Oh, I've seen a lot of dog shows. The dogs are trainable, highly trainable. It's possible. I can dream, can't I, Cory?
I mean, yes, every man can.
Yeah, so I probably don't have a lot of patience when it comes to that kind of thing. And now that I think about it, I think I'm probably guilty of legitimately visually projecting the look of someone who's not patient. Like, there's probably some eye rolls I shouldn't give. Danielle knows what I'm talking about.
I also lack patience sometimes, so I understand.
Okay. So hopefully it's not a cop-out answer. That's like the best thing I come up with.
That's a good answer.
I guess we'll let that one slide.
All right, buddy.
I feel like I need to change my answer now. God damn it.
Nick, you look like you're deep in thought there.
Yeah, I'm deep in something. I would probably go back and change some of the decisions I made when choosing friends a while ago.
Oh, sweet.
Like all
Um,
you fuckers.
Anyone in particular?
I fucking hate you guys.
No, I think I'm over analytical and I overthink things. I think that's my issue. And I would change that if I could.
Never would have pegged you for an over-analytical person, Nick.
Yeah, well, when you're in the chair with the doctor, like I've said before, this many voices that come out of one man has to mean that they're somewhere inside here. And they don't go to sleep.
Oh, Jesus
Is
Christ.
that what it has to be? Can you give us an example of how that over-analytical nature of yours has caused you problems?
Yeah, because I overthink things. I
don't get that, but is there an example of how?
Yeah, not like a story of an example of how I overthink things, but I pessimistically glass half empty look at things. Okay. And that's rarely the case. So introspectively, I would change that because it's you have to have more of a positive outlook. And I'm more of a sink the ship kind of person.
Burn the boats.
Yep. Oh, I said something I shouldn't have. Well, we're not friends anymore.
I feel like you just described every time where you've walked out of Ray's and then come in the next day going like, sorry about that. I don't know what I was thinking.
But knowing that about me, that obviously takes a lot. So,
yeah.
I've never looked a downspout in the eye.
Oh, man.
That I didn't like.
I shouldn't have mentioned that earlier today. I feel like it's stuck in your brain.
How that ever get fixed?
No, I was told, don't worry. But I still have the downspout in my garage.
And a lot of black spray paint.
Oh, yeah.
It's brown. It's not black.
Sure.
Jesus. No wonder why Jason didn't want you guys to fix it.
No, there are probably
Bob
some
to fix it.
Why, yeah. Other legitimate, stronger reasons why he didn't want us to fix it.
Yeah, because Uncle Ray's is a big brown building.
It is a brown building.
No, it's not. It's black.
Cory's never been there in the daylight, so
the ceiling's also painted brown.
The paint is brown. Next time, once they reopen, we will put this to rest.
We could drive there tomorrow. They don't have to reopen. It's still going to be black.
And we can go tomorrow.
Clearly, when he closed and was doing all these improvements, he obviously painted it black.
But we're not just going by memory. Nick and I legitimately went out and bought paint to match the existing downspout, which is black.
The downspout might be black, but the brick is not.
The brick?
Okay, wait a minute.
What? Why would we paint the downspout in the multitude of red brick colors like camouflage?
Not the downspout. I'm talking about the brick on the building.
Well, of course we don't think it's black brick. It's brick.
It's all painted brick.
It's not brown.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. Well, you let me know tomorrow when you guys meet up there who was right.
It'll be too hurtful for Cory to go up there and not be able to walk inside.
I'll make my way inside.
All right. Let's see if we can. What are we looking at for time here, Cory?
I did have a dream the other night that Nancy died.
That wasn't a dream.
A dream or a nightmare?
I had a dream.
A nightmare.
Okay. So you woke going, that was a good feeling.
That was weird. That was the whole dream. They're planning a visitation for Nancy.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really weird.
Did you wake up thinking, I got to call somebody and find out if she's okay?
No, I thought, wow, she looks better than when she did alive.
I thought, I feel like a bowl of cereal right now. And I went on with my day.
And if that is something that happened, then I am intuitive. So
that happened to me in college. I remember very distinctly. I was a junior in college, and it was like a weekday. I woke up in the middle of the night. I had a dream that my dad died, and I called the house immediately. And it rang and rang and rang. And back then, they didn't have an answering machine. It just kept ringing and ringing. And finally, oh, I'm like, you guys okay? Who is this?
Jerry?
Hello. Why are you calling me? I'm like, man, I had a dream that it was a bad dream. No worries. They're like, okay, geez, I'll talk to you later.
Stupid kids.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Why did I have these kids? I got about an hour. You want to do another round of shots?
Son of a bitch. All right.
Just go in the kitchen?
Yeah.
That was super aggressive for no reason.
Ooh, what?
You're super aggressive for no reason.
I didn't know if you were yawning or throwing up.
Wow. Right in the middle of the yawn.
Sorry.
All right, Danielle, while they're doing that, let's see if we can pick another number and maybe end on, I feel like this was not a down note, but a very sort of like a serious. Let's see if we can find another question here that might produce a more of a lighthearted response all the way around.
Okay.
So.
Let's go. What's 1 through 100 you said?
I did.
67.
Okay.
Did you write down the ones we did last time?
No, but we generally, they're not like yes, no questions.
Right.
So I feel like we're going to remember if we hit it or not. Plus it's on a web page and I probably should. It's probably a good point. So at some point before next week, I'll transfer them over to a document and start to highlight the ones we did. So 67. What is your favorite childhood memory? That seems like a little more light. This is better. We're better off ending up in this one than what we just did. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start back again with Cory, and I'm gonna go grab a shot while he does it. So did you get that other question, Cory?
I did not.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh God, didn't we do this?
No. Did we do it?
No, we did childhood like game or something.
Yes, we did.
No, didn't Cory tell us about meeting the Red Wings and going with his dad or someone's family or something, and he got to meet them at Joe Louis or something like that on one of the early podcasts?
No,
probably, but it wasn't this question. I don't know if it's a question that we posed like in a roundabout.
You can't use that now, Cory, so don't even.
Son of a bitch.
Your childhood memory.
Oh, favorite childhood memory. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's probably going up to Ascota.
You know what, Nick?
Don't.
Sir.
Don't be obvious.
Are correct.
No, do not be obvious.
Well, then aside from Ascota.
Nick's just jealous because he didn't come to Ascota.
I've been to Ascota many times.
No, I would have to say maybe the biggest memory, and not really a specific one, but just playing hockey for all the years I did. It was just a great time and something I miss a lot. So that span of 13, 14 years I played, that it's a good 14-year memory.
Okay. Shot?
Oh, sure.
Come back around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Another one of these.
So I will say I will not be returning to Uncle Ray's official until Jason's carrying the old doctor here.
You think so?
No, I know so. I have control over that. Not what he carries, but me not returning until he gets it.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
The animals. The old doctor. Cory was able to find the pie.
Are we looking in the Facebook Live, Cory?
6 right now.
All right.
Cory's able to drink alcoholic pie.
What could be better? Danielle, what's your favorite childhood memory?
I'd have to say going up north to my grandparents' cabin, there was like a week every August. My dad's whole side of the family would go up north every year.
Okay.
So just a lot of like family time with all my cousins and
All 758 of them.
well, on that side there's only 14 of us.
Oh, only 14.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. But you really look forward to it.
My mom's side of the family, there's like 23 or something.
Dude, I will live stream one of the events I go to with Danielle's
A
family,
lot of
and
people.
you guys would think that it's some sort of cult gathering.
A lot of hooting and hollering.
It's just it's really loud. My
You know,
dad's
I was gonna say that's not even really hooting and hollering. It's just loud, random noises that you can't even think.
Wild random noises?
Someone singing the poop song.
Oh, that's new.
Georgie's singing the poop song.
Just every now and again, someone just going, "Bap."
No, just that. Just constantly.
It's never really quiet.
But
Ever.
generally that's like crowd noise, right? Like people are always talking, not like random
Yeah, but
noises.
it's not a crowd. It's my family.
And they also don't talk. They scream at each other.
Yeah.
And so someone had the audacity the other day when I said something loudly. She was like, "Why are you talking so loud?"
Actually, it was today.
I was
You
like-
were yelling in my ear.
I was like, "Oh well, welcome to what it's like listening to you."
Was it around 8:30 this morning?
No, we were driving in the car, and he said to me, and I was like, "Why are you yelling?" He goes, "Because you have room to talk."
Wow.
He's like, "Now you know what it's like when sitting next to you." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Pro tip. The line, "Now you know what it's like," never goes over well.
Right?
For
I left.
all you fellas out there.
I
Now
know.
you know what it's like.
I know I'm loud, and I don't realize it.
Nick, what's your number one childhood memory?
I was just going to comment on, fortunately, Bob, what you said is Danielle saying, "Now you know what it's like," could probably be a very awkward situation for Cory. But anyhow, I digress.
It hurts a little. It's not bad.
Good timing. Right when he's putting in the chew.
So, favorite childhood memory, trips. I'll just generalize trips with my cousins and my family. My family, we were big vacation people. We went out west. We went to Maine, rented a house. We went to the Keys, rented a house. Went to Grand Cayman, Cancun, all the different states out west. And my dad made sure to do a lot with us. And we were always with some of my cousins or our family or something like that. And so I have a lot of good memories from that.
Cool.
Hard to pick one, but yeah, obviously my cabin being up there as well. So
Right. I think I'd probably have to go with we had a pop-up camper and we'd go camping at the KOA campgrounds around Michigan and Canada. And I think we always look forward to that because we all secretly, well, me and my two sisters secretly loved watching the fucking shitty adventures my dad would get in with the camper. And then he'd bitch about it the entire trip. And it was I just found it so hilarious. It was like watching Inspector Clouseau trying to go on a camping trip.
Would it like break down the side of the road and shit, or just in general trying to like put it up and get everything together?
And he was a handy guy. That was it. Did I tell you the story about? Did I tell the story about my grandparents coming on the trip? We went to Sarnia and in the rain.
I do not believe so.
Okay, so my mom's parents were in town, and my dad decided we were gonna take the camper and go. Me and my two sisters, my mom and dad, and my grandma and grandpa on my mom's side. So my dad didn't really get along with them very well. They were just completely different types of people, and he didn't really tolerate their types of people. So he was already not looking forward to it. And so he set the camper up, and for anybody who has never had a pop-up camper, on the ends, you've got the beds on each side. And so my parents were in one end, my grandparents were in the other end. And then me and my two sisters were down around the kitchen area sleeping there. And at some point that first night, it rained really hard. And so it was raining outside, and my mom started poking my dad going, Bob, wake up. He's like, what? What's the matter? He's like, I don't know where Dad is. He's like, what? What are you talking about? Dad's gone and nobody knows where he is. And we're in a KOA campground. And so look over, and sure enough, my grandma's sleeping, but my grandpa's not there. And my mom's now concerned because he's in his, early 70s, and it's raining outside and he's not in the camper.
It's clearly somewhere soaking wet.
He's like, maybe he probably just went to the bathroom. Honey, I just need you to go out and find him. I just need you to go out and make sure he's okay. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so he throws on a bathrobe. I'm sure he's probably in his boxer shorts, the bathrobe. And he goes out, he steps over us kids, and he goes to go out the door. And my grandfather had removed the step from outside the river. So my dad pitched forth into the mud. And all I could hear is like, what the fuck? No, Jesus Christ. Who took the goddamn step out?
Why did he move the step?
That's what I was wondering.
So he walks through the rain to the bathroom. My dad is covered in mud at this point, and he walks in the bathroom, and he finds my grandfather. And so my grandpa was the kind of guy who he sang in the choir at church. He loved to sing opera to anyone who would listen. And one time he came to one of my high school football games. They were from New Hampshire, so they didn't come around very often. But when they did, they came around and they sat in the stands. And when they played the national anthem, my grandpa sang at top volume.
Over the person that was...
No, well, they were playing it over the PA system.
Okay, all right.
And everybody kind of goes like, "Oh, say, can you?" And he was like, "Oh, say," and just like on like Pavarotti, just like that sort of volume and intensity. And people started to move away from him in the stands. And my uncles were up there, and they were like, "What the fuck, Bob? Who is this guy? This is your father-in-law?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was staying on the sidelines, and people were like, "Who's that guy?" And I'm like, "Oh God," I'm trying to sit
don't know him.
like a turtle, pull my head down into my shoulder pads. So my dad walks his way to the bathroom, and he's covered in mud, and he finds my grandfather in there chatting up the custodian, who's like swabbing out the toilets and shit. And he's literally just kind of, back in my day, when camping, we didn't really have custodians. It's kind of, so what kind of detergent are you using there? That brush looks like it's doing the job. Do you find this kind of work fulfilling? And, man, well, one time when I was in, and my dad's like, what are you fucking doing? Get back. Why are you here? And why did you take the step out? So at the times like that, that's my best memories. Because we never kind of we always kind of bonded together over our shared disbelief at what kind of person my grandpa was.
So
and how much problem he caused my dad whenever he was in town.
So you're just going to leave a cliffhanger? The step question was never answered? He just decided to take it with him?
Yeah, just decided to take it with him to the bathroom.
What?
In case he was looking for me.
We never really got it's not satisfying, but it's the truth. He just decided, well, I think I probably need to take the step with me to the bathroom in case someone steals it. Like, what if I get back and it's not there? Then how am I going to get up in the camper?
I guess his mind was in the right place.
Wow.
My dad always used to tell a story about they were in town for a visit, and he'd asked me to go out and wash. My dad asked me to go out and wash his car. So I'm out there, and I'm young, very young, and my grandpa comes out. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing out here? Washing the car, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, Grandpa, I'm washing the car." He's like, "Well, you're supposed to start with the wheels first. They get the dirtiest." I'm like, oh, really? Okay, I guess I could do that. So I start washing the wheels, and he fucks off inside to go, eat his caramels or whatever he was doing. My dad comes out. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Grandpa told me, wash your wheels first. They get the dirtiest. He's like, no, don't do that. Go back to doing it the way I told you. He goes inside. He pulls on Grandpa's side. He's like, don't tell my kid how to wash a car. Why would you start with the wheels first? Are you a fucking idiot? Why would you do that? He's trying to, well, because they get the dirtiest. He's like, Dick. That was my grandpa's name.
A rude family.
When you go take a shower, take a shower, do you wash your asshole first before you wash your face? Why would you wash the wheels first? I don't understand why you would do that. Don't tell my kid how to wash the car.
That is one thing I did learn at a very young age, because my buddy Kyle and I did the exact same thing. We started from the tires.
Oh God, I'm so glad you're talking about cars.
What?
Oh,
we washed our assholes first.
I was like,
my fucking hand smelled horrible. You'll never forget that. You will never forget that.
Took forever to get that smell off there.
Whoa! Whoa!
But yeah, no, it's the same thing with drying it too. I think we started like drying one of the doors, and his dad came out. He's like, "What are you idiots doing?" Like, "Oh, we're drying the door off." So, yeah. So what happens when you wipe the roof of the car off? Like, oh, all the water comes down, and so you redo the doors. We're like, well, yeah. At some point, I guess we're gonna have to start from the fucking top. All the water will run down. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, much better to end with that than what we would change about ourselves. Good job, Danielle. All right, I got about hour 48. You guys want to do pick of the week? Close it up.
We can do pick of the week.
Beautiful. Anyone like to go first?
I can go.
Cory. It's going to be Cory. Oh, happy day. Cory's going first.
So I guess before he gives it to himself, I'll give Nick credit on this one.
He's going to take it no matter what you do.
I know. So I might as well just throw it out there so you can say it. One night we were at Uncle Ray's. Nick showed up, and I made some sort of comment to him that he smelled like a grandfather. And even though it was kind of a backhanded comment, it was the scent was very distinct and overpowering nonetheless. But I obviously had to ask him what the fuck he put on himself that made him smell like that.
Burma shave?
Well, it might as well have been. But it was this Duke Cannon solid cologne that he was telling me about. So the other day when we were at Target going through, had to get some soap and all that shit, I see this Duke Cannon line. I'm like, you know what? It didn't smell too bad. The solid cologne. So let me try out some of the soaps. And
you told me it was making you sick.
It was overpowering. You could probably use a little less, but
I did get sick, but it wasn't too bad. So I thought I'd buy some.
He's like, I almost have to move. I'm like, okay.
What is that in the shelf? That's the stuff that made me feel sick when I smelled it.
Cory left and went, okay, that didn't come off too gay. God, he smelled amazing. How do I smell like a grandfather? How do I smell like a grandfather?
But it wasn't the solid cologne that I picked up. It was Duke Cannon's big ass bar of soap, and it's the Naval Supremacy scent.
Did you say Naval Supremacy?
Naval Supremacy is the name of the scent.
Like NAVEL?
Like a supreme naval.
No, AL.
Oh, fail. Come on. There's a great pun just sitting there waiting. Like you could have plugged it off the tree and put it in your pocket.
Duke Cannon's a very serious line. They don't do too many puns. No, very straightforward. Bitches. But it's and the bar of soap itself is the size of this brewmate in can. And
that.
What's that?
Danielle's gonna love that. Hey, babe, if you could just move your conditioner and your hairspray out of the. Why would you have hairspray in the shower? I'm not sure why I said that.
You never know.
Move these 2 bottles out of they are no longer essential. I need room for my big ass bar of soap.
He's got a soap holder.
Damn straight.
A soap holder. Did you say holder or holster?
Holder.
Is he wearing like a belt with
Yeah, if I wear a belt in the
I
shower.
mean, he might. I don't know.
soap out of his holster?
No, there's like a suction cup bar.
Clear plastic.
It comes with a suction cup in it?
No.
Clear
I
plastic
bought-
belt.
A suction cup
Leather.
soap holder.
Leather's no.
How
good.
big is this soap holder? Is it like a
Not big enough for the.
Big ass.
Two of us.
Oh, it's
not big.
like this, and that soap bar's like this?
Cory,
It kind of angles out of it.
Uh-huh.
Cory, did you say the soap holder's not big enough for the two of us?
That's right. Every time I get in the shower.
You're gonna need a bigger soap holder.
Oh,
Right.
Lordy, here comes the Duke with his soap.
It's a sketch every time I get in the shower every morning. But I do believe I opened it up and I told Danielle, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, this smells like the sea. In a good way.
See, the beach. Does it smell like the beach?
If it smells like the beach, then you're onto something.
I mean, I guess you could say beach, but it's
Mm.
so yeah.
You know-
Do Canon products. If you guys happen to come across them, I know Target sells a lot of them. I would give them a shot.
What did you, Nick? What did you assign him for a gentleman's agreement again?
Lost.
I gotta say, the way you were kind of excited, I would have bet money you were gonna assign him Seinfeld.
No, because he wouldn't enjoy it. He'll enjoy Lost.
Okay.
Eh,
See, that should mean something to you, Cory. That should mean something. He could have given you Seinfeld. He very easily could have.
I'm not vindictive.
okay.
So it should make you feel better.
Yeah.
Lost is so good.
We'll
What?
see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Do you say that Cory smells so good now?
Yes.
Oh, finally. It only took 6 years. Well,
I was waiting for his scent to catch up with his personality.
Danielle, what about you? You got a pick of the week?
Yes. So I usually
Yes.
drink Mixcloud,
Yes.
but I recently tried the Truly lemonade, which I don't typically like the Truly flavors because
It
they're
sounds like a review of your trip to Target.
It's all we got, Bob. It's all we got.
Lemonade. What are we gonna do for pick of the week, babe? Look around you. It's open lemonade.
Listen, we don't go much anywhere besides like Target and Walmart.
Just try something new, okay? It can be that.
Come on, just get that crazy soap Nick was using.
What kind of chips are these?
The Truly lemonade is really good. There's 4 different flavors.
All right, hold on a second. What's the deal with Truly Lemonade? Is it like organic, made from the tears of unicorns? Why is it different than regular lemonade?
Because it's seltzer water lemonade.
Okay, I missed that part.
With alcohol.
I was too busy ridiculing your pick to really understand what it was,
I know.
and that was my
So
my bad.
Truly makes the hard seltzers just like White Claw does.
Okay,
But I typically will not get Truly because I don't think the flavors are very good.
okay.
But the lemonade is like a whole nother ball game, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot better. It has more flavor to it.
It's a tough time to bring up sports references, Danielle.
You wouldn't know.
Just say it tastes like Lemon Pledge. That's all you have to say.
No, the one I have right now is a strawberry lemonade. It's really good.
Okay.
It's much sweeter than I was expecting.
It's not an energy drink made for Asian homosexuals, is it?
No.
Okay.
Nick, if you went to Target this week, you probably have a pick as well. So
Unfortunately, I did not go to Target. I don't know if I have one. I've been trying to think.
tell you what, while you're thinking, I'll go
Yeah, go ahead.
buy some time. My pick on Netflix, Middleditch and Schwartz. It's a mouthful.
Gesundheit.
Yep, exactly. I highly recommend. Have you ever seen it's
something that's that hard to explain. I don't know if it can be that good.
well, so you've seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, right?
Correct. yes.
Everybody's seen like an improv show.
Mm-hmm.
Whose Line Anyway is very specific in that they do many different kinds of short sketches. Middleditch and Schwartz is here's why you love it, Cory. Ben Schwartz, Thomas Middleditch. These guys you would know from different shit they've been on TV. I want to say Thomas Middleditch was in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Ben Schwartz is in. He's been in a bunch of different shit. Whatever the Showtime show with. Oh my God, Don Cheadle was a philandering sales guy, and he had his own team. It was him and Kristen Bell. Anyway, these two guys, just the two of them, they go on stage and they make up everything. Every episode is like it's an hour-long show. So they basically just open up to the crowd and they're like, tell us about who you are. We'll ask you some questions, and they get some information from them. They kind of have some back and forth, and then they go, okay, we've got a few pieces of information. That's it. So now what you're about to see is completely made up. We're going to start based on everything we just heard. And they go on for not just like a short Who's Line sketch, but the whole hour. They do a whole hour-long sketch based on what they just heard. And it's all improv. It's all in front of a studio audience. So the laughter you're hearing is actual laughter, Cory, not canned laughter.
So you say.
Yeah, I do say. And they play. What's cool is they play like many different characters. They have a couple of chairs on stage, and they kind of use that to mark the places of the different characters whose names they can sometimes remember and other times can't. Like you can absolutely tell that they're making it up on the spot because they deliberately try to make it so complex that it's hard to follow, and they kind of sometimes get lost themselves. So I was dying. It's very good. And there's only 3 episodes. And each one's an hour.
What's the crazy name of it again?
Middleditch and Schwartz on Netflix. So strong recommend. Check it out. All right.
I guess that to do an hour-long improv, I guess you have to have a good amount of talent to do that.
I was watching it going, it's really kind of like a magic trick what they're doing. Because they're just riffing off of each other going, okay, this lady, we talked to this, I think the first episode, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but they talked to, they're it's like the Fox Theater. So you got the main floor, and then you've got a box, several boxes of people like up on the wings on the left and the right. So they're talking to people who are in one of the boxes there, and there's 4 people in the box, and 2 of them are getting married. And so they start asking them about how they know the other 2 people in the box, what relationship they are to them, how they met, where they grew up, who's the best man, who's the maid of honor, that kind of stuff. And there were some interesting details that they got from that. And then they just kind of riff on that. And they did the whole wedding from start to finish, from planning to, up on stage, with them playing all the different parts. It was hysterical. So
all right, check it out. I have to give it a watch.
All right, Nick, did I buy enough time?
Yep.
Perfect.
You made me remember. Detroit Salsa Company salsa.
Hold on. You have recommended salsas before.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, my memory is just shoddy enough that I can't remember which one you recommended. Do you?
I believe I recommended Herdez or whatever. Green.
You just made that up.
No. It's
that's not a real word.
It's HERDEZ or something like that. It's kind of like a milky green color.
Yeah.
It's like a guacamole salsa. It's really good. But no. Detroit Salsa Company.
Okay.
It's in like a
jar,
clear plastic container, like you would find most fresh salsas. Okay. It's all like handmade. It's all fresh ingredients. It's not something that you can. Yeah, Gina, green sauce. Not something that you can put, inside your cupboard and leave it there like. Tortilla or what's it called?
Picante.
Yeah, like some shit like that, or no.
Taco Bell.
No, nothing like that. Pace.
That's what I was. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But yeah, it's all fresh. It's a little heavy on cilantro,
which is probably what you like about. Where did you find it?
So. My mom turned me onto it. I think she got it at Concessi's and Riverview. But I think that they have it at a lot of local stores. It's their actual storefront is in Allen Park, but it's got a black label, big white lettering, says Detroit. Red, I think it says Salsa Company, and it's probably some of the best salsa I've had. It's really, really good.
Okay.
It's addicting. I got the mild. I would delve into the hot for sure, but it's amazing. I'll have to ask her specifically. When I looked on their website, I tried to buy it online, and from just the Google shopping, you couldn't do it. But I'm sure if you go to their website, I'm sure you can buy it through there, or you can go right over to Allen Park and pick it up. But it said, available at a store near you. So I'm assuming they go around and, sell to Kroger and things like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely got to try it out. It's amazing.
Will do. All right. You guys ready to bring it to a close?
Put a bow on it?
Yes.
We can do so.
Period on the sentence. All right. Thank you everybody for joining. This has been episode 74. We'll be back here again next weekend. Episode 75. Bit of a mini milestone. But in the meantime, please check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, Mixcloud, Stitcher, wherever you feel like getting your podcast from. Give us a rating, give us a review, and tell your friends and family. So for Schnozzcast, this is Bob saying goodbye. Cory.
Good night, everyone. See you next week.
Nick.
Be good to yourselves and one another.
Well said. Danielle. Now you got to top that, Danielle.
Bye.
All right.